All right. So now I'm going to step out of the role of host and into the role of presenter. So this year's theme is how does your tradition help you balance the need for solitude and reflection with the need for community and connection? So I'm Gene Burnett, and today I'll be representing Taoism, even though, as I always say, the Tao that can be represented is not the true Tao. I'm uh, I'm not representing an orthodox Taoist community or organization. Uh, in fact, the term Taoist organization seems a little contradictory to me. Um, I guess with any faith tradition or any religious practice or religion, there's a sort of an orthodox, more, I guess you could say, more dogmatic approach where you do what the book says, regardless of how you feel, until you feel what the book says, or you do what you feel. You do what feels most deeply right to you based on the principles of the practice, and then eventually that'll line up with the words in the book. So I guess it would be sort of orthodox versus freestyle. I'm more of a freestyle Taoist in that I take a few central core principles of Taoism and try to apply them in every area of my life. So the Tao translates roughly from the Chinese as the way, or the way of the universe, or the natural order of the universe. So Taoism is a religion or a philosophy where we seek to align with the Tao. We seek to align with that, the way of nature, the way nature operates. Um, One of our sacred symbols in Taoism is the Tai Chi symbol, the yin and yang, the hard and soft, the masculine and feminine, the light and dark in a dynamic conversation. I'm a longtime student and teacher of Tai Chi. I've taught Tai Chi for going on 30 years now, and that's what we're all about, embodying that yin-yang balance, uh, basically in our own lives and in our own bodies. So that's a central core practice of mine. Um, we seek this balance of yin and yang everywhere. I know I do. I try to find the least forceful way that I can live. So Taoism is really opposed to any kind of polarization. We see opposing poles of any kind as being in more of a dynamic conversation, and it's less about one side winning over the other and more like both sides being heard and expressed. It's not about the victory of the light. It's about seeing the light and dark as interdependent uh, in a dynamic relationship with each other. So the problems come when we're out of balance, and that usually comes from using force, trying to make things go our way. So one of our little mottos or at least one of my mottos in my freestyle Taoist practice is flow more, force less. So I'm looking for the most natural way to breathe, the most natural, unforced way to work, to walk, to stand, to be in the world, at least as best I can. So when it comes to this theme, looking at solitude versus community, we see them as more of a conversation, a dynamic conversation, not so much as being opposed to each other. Sometimes it feels really right to be alone and to be inner and reflective and in solitude. Other times it feels really right to be in community and connection with other people. Sometimes we have a choice about it, sometimes we don't. You might be stuck on an island alone, or you might be stuck on an island with other people, or an elevator. You might be alone in there, you might be stuck with other people. So sometimes you just have no choice. Taoism is really about accepting the situation that you find yourself in and seeking the unforced balance that's inherent in it, since that balance is inherent in everything. So we accept what's happening inside and out as best we can. And we see that solitude nurtures some parts of us. I know it nurtures some parts of me, and community nurtures other parts. And the two are interdependent, and they kind of they feed each other. Think of walking on the beach. If you're walking on the beach with a good friend and you're combing the beach for shells and interesting things to share with each other, if you walk the same stretch of beach the whole time together, then you're going to see the same things. Whereas if you branch off and explore different parts of the beach together, you'll each have different things and different things to tell stories about and different things to show each other. So that's kind of a lot of the way that I see it. It's like that beach metaphor. I take the time alone to heart. I take that time to heart so that when I'm in community, I have something to share that comes from my direct experience, that comes from a deep place in myself. So we try to balance this polarization out as best we can into kind of an embrace, just like the yin-yang symbol kind of embraces. The yin embraces the yang embraces the yin. There's the seed of each one resting inside each one of them. So that's our sort of Taoist approach to this polarity as well as all polarities. So I'd like to play a little song I wrote now called Solitude. Just give me a second to get my guitar around my neck again. And I'll see if I can do it without banging it against anything. That's always the challenge. Can we do it without banging? Gotta have a pick. I'll tell you something between us two. I love my woman, but I still love you. Sometimes I just have to choose solitude, solitude. In a crowd or all alone, I take you with me wherever I go. You're in my blood, you're in my soul. Solitude, solitude. I love my woman more and more. She walks through windows, she sees through doors. But you and I, we walk the floors. Solitude, solitude. Where do I start? Where do I cease? Where do I paint my masterpiece? Where do I put my heart at ease? Solitude, solitude. Checking out and checking in, shutting up and listening, sorting out what might have been. Solitude, solitude. I love my woman, God knows I do. She's getting closer to breaking through. But sometimes I just have to choose solitude, solitude. I'll tell you something between us two. I love my woman, but I still love you. Sometimes I just have to choose solitude, 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 solitude. Thank you for listening. If you have been, if you'd like to take a moment to honor the Taoist tradition silently or out loud, please feel free. And now let's go on to some more presenters. Thanks.